I'm C.K. Turner, and I will be reading the first 3 chapters of my book, Sparrow in a Tin Can. Sparrow in a Tin Can. Opening. January, Vermont, chartered 1762, Essex County, Northeast Kingdom. Population 3, missing 1987. January, Vermont is a ghost town, but don't confuse January, Vermont with a few abandoned buildings outside old logging camps and discarded mines, because January, Vermont went ghost the way people go ghost. Missing, never found, now haunting the Vermont woods, felt by some but never seen. Late October nights heard on old winds, revisiting the forest, but once upon a time January, Vermont was an ordinary small town. January, Vermont did have a white clapboard church and a covered bridge, but the leaves didn't quite touch over the streets. There was no army of uniformed milkmen greeting the day. The mailman did his rounds with a cigarette hanging off his lip, and if there had been, once upon a time, a white picket fence anywhere in town, there was no evidence it had ever been there. But if you had walked down Church Street in early October of 1987, you had seen Pastor Phillips polishing the sign of the town church, Mr. Fitzroy and his boys stocking shelves in the gas station across the street. If you'd followed Main Street out of town, you'd have passed Boucher's dairy farm, where a man could set his watch by the hour and minute the cows got milked, every 12 hours on the hour. And if you doubled back down the road, you would have likely seen Sam Samuel, Vietnam vet, an armchair mechanic in the house on the edge of town, rocking on his porch or perhaps poking under the hood of one of the dead cars in his yard while his son laid out in the grass, daydreaming and picking shapes out of the clouds. This is not just a Sunday drive through the country. This is the story of a little town Vermont lost. A place you can no longer get to by any road, because you won't find January, Vermont on any map. You won't drive through it on accident or on purpose. Vermonters won't be able to give you directions. There are no covered bridges that spit it out, and only 3 people in the world know where it once was. Because one week in late October of 1987, the little town of January, Vermont started losing its grip on the world. Roads stopped turning there. Trees started growing. Road signs went missing. People got forgetful. And one by one, the little black dot January fell from every map, past, present, or future. Swept off the face of the earth. This is a story from the dustbin of America, about a town no one remembers existed, and the 3 people who still call it home. Somewhere up ahead, we're looking for a little lost town. And somewhere up the road, we'll find something else. Part 1. Orange. 1. The crack of the church's spine woke Angus. Above the gas station, the boys' bedroom walls danced with a jack-o'-lantern glow, a burnt smell clogging his nostrils. The boy out of bed at his window, flames swung at the stars. Night air warmed to summer heat, July on his face, a small sun risen in the middle of the night across the street. Clapboard, wilting shutters falling, windows dripping like water, flakes of the old hymnals scattering in the wind. Layer by layer, fire peeling the church like an onion. The boy's nose on a journey of years, the top layers the last 5, 10, 20 years new and plasticky, the full flame scent of varnish, paint, floor lacquer. And deeper still, the old layers, 50, 150, 200 impossible years deep in the bones of the church, wood and stone, searing his lungs with an old world incense, cast off pews of oak or cherry wood, maple altar or cross, cedar beams or siding. The boy coughed. The church so far gone, Angus unsure who he'd call. His father at least, but his voice tarred to his throat. The boy watched from his bedroom window, warm but getting hot, relieved to be across the street, wishing he was further. a black silhouette below, printed on the flames. Pastor Phillips, watching his church burn, standing over scattered gas cans like pews, his open hand reaching for the flames, like he was preaching. 3, a voice said. Angus looked to his bedroom door, shut but dripping voice like a faucet in the night. 3, Dad's voice, awake now, moving down the hall, speaking to itself. 3, Angus heard the door to Dad's reading room wind back on its hinges. Tall footsteps cross the continental dark. The click of a lamp. The rustle of pages. 3. In the next room, Vern Fitzroy, father to Angus, stood at his open window, watching the church blow away like autumn leaves. He licked his lips, tasted something like cigarettes in the air. Flames flickered, popped, slid, crinkled. Why? He had never noticed it before, but that sound, ruffle, rustle, wrinkle, the flames swung a right hook, whisper, whisk, threw a left jab, flit, shh, 2 drunken fists thrown wide, flip, flick, shh, was the sound of paper. All the sound of paper. Bound paper, loose paper, Bible paper, book paper, magazines, newspaper, picture print, high gloss, low gloss, smooth as ice, pulpy as Vermont northern hardwood. A ceiling fan stirred the room softly. Mr. Fitzroy's eyes turned to a magazine on the end table. His thumb peeled back the cover. Slide, crinkle. The church split in 2 like campfire logs. 2. Somewhere across town, in a small house surrounded by a litter of dead cars, a man stirred in his sleep. 1 bloodshot eye took the glow of a clock. 3:33. The room heard his heart working, a man in harmony with a clock. Tick, 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 beat, beat, beat. Well-timed as Bach. Mr. Samuel sat on the edge of his bed, wondering why he was awake, feeling rustled, stirred, jostled from sleep, shaken, awake. Henry, he looked around the room. He was alone, his mouth dry. You, all right, Henry? He looked to his bedroom door. It was shut. No light on in the hall behind. No sign his son had been up. Body heat fading from his sheets. Bed cooling to winter beneath him. He sniffed. Was something burning in the house? He limped across the floorboards. His hand stopped on the doorknob. He did not twist the knob. He did not turn the handle. Strangely, he stood still, sensing something behind him. Samuel turned. Glow at the window. He pulled the blinds. No, not in the house. Some kind of pocket sun crashed off in town, glowing low and soft. Orange, northern lights come to Vermont, something burning deep in town. Tick, 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 beat, beat, beat. His face, dirty with guilt for watching. His hand, itching for a cigarette. 3. In the hallway of the small house, surrounded by a litter of dead cars, stood a barefoot boy, Henry Samuel. Unsure why he was awake, mistaking it for a midnight piss, now realizing he didn't have to go. The boy stood in the hallway, wind blowing the warmth of his footsteps out of the hardwood, feet caught in the flow of a river, cold air coming from beneath Dad's bedroom door. October air, outside air, bitter on his toes. Dad had opened a window, let Vermont inside. Vermont's newest stream ran down the hallway of the Samuel house, whistling like a ghost. The boy sniffed, Someone burning leaves at this hour? The boy shivered. The door at the deep end of the hall, tall, lean, and dark. 3. Dad's voice, half aloud on the other side. 3 in the morning. Henry let out a breath. It was warm as August on his teeth. Thanks. That's the first 3 chapters of my book, Sparrow in a Tin Can. I'm C.K. Turner. Thanks for listening.